All right, there we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. So, yeah, I saw that comment about Miss Molly. So I got to tell you, when I first got back here, I saw her and I'm going, Miss Molly, come here. Um, she was like, "Screw you, pal," and she took off. And so the next day, she let me pet her, and she was all over me, and you know, little box was going, was petting her out there again today. So yeah, it was pretty funny, but she was like letting me know that she was unhappy, uh, you know that that I had been gone, and so but she's an awesome cat. That is an awesome cat. Her little bitty short legs, very funny. So I was doing my private live stream, and it was like 3 minutes away from the hour being up, and everything everything froze. So I had to like shut down. I couldn't even go in and shut down regular. I had to just shut down, a different way. So that was weird. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, before we jump into anything, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate it. So just please be decent and we'll have a good chat and we will go from there. So I've been running around visiting everybody. I haven't done any content the last couple days. So um, just trying to enjoy my time and see everybody I want to see and kind of go from there. But chickens they seem to be doing okay. I was out there looking at them today and stuff, and they're fat. I could tell you that the chickens are all fat, little Miss Thick Neck included. So very fat chickens. But anyway, they're just kind of doing their thing. So, uh, but they're all older now. Caesar and Pandora doing fine. Yep, they're looking good. Pandora was super excited when I got back here, and she went bananas. So yeah, the only cat left out of the cats when I left is Miss Molly. She's the only one left. Oh well, and Stella. Heather had Stella, but other than that, no, they're all the other cats are gone now. So, and the reason I didn't take Max with me down to West Virginia, uh, he's a great cat, but when we moved from Greece, New York to here, I mean, he like lost it. I mean, he did not adjust well at all. And then after being here for 8 years, I didn't feel it was right to try to take him down there for a much longer drive and then try to have him adjust down there. No snow at this point right now. It hasn't snowed since I've been up here. I know they're calling for snow coming in, and they're calling for like an inch, I think. So, not really too worried about it. Not too worried about it. But yeah, it's just if they get a little snow here, they get a little snow here. Not. As soon as I start heading south, the temperatures will start going up. I have had times where I left here and the temperature was like at a certain level, and even though it got to be later at night, the temperatures were warmer the farther south that I went. Obviously, so but I always thought that was funny. But yep, just like I said, spent time today with mom. I did that little short showing that, and when I was with Eddie and Heather, we just did our thing. It took a couple of pictures. Uh, we'd gone. I got to tell you what we did. So we'd gone to the mall, and they had the Santa chair set up, and and all that, and they got like the rope. It's roped off, right? And so there's no Santa. It was like Santa's due back at 4. It was like I don't know 3 in the afternoon, and I go, come on. So under the rope we go. I have them both sit in the chair. I take a picture of that, and then I sit in the chair with them, and we did like the selfie with the three of us in the chair. And so, let's see. Let me pull them, see if I can pull them up here. So, there's Eddie and Heather sitting in the chair, Santa's chair. And then there's the three of us. So obviously I'm sitting lower in the chair and they're sitting on the armrest. So, yep, so that's did that and that was fun. And then like as soon as we got back under the rope and we're walking down, here comes one of the security guards is like, mall security was walking up. And Heather goes, "Well, that was close." I said, "What's he gonna say?" We can't take pictures in Santa's chair. And we'd have went, "Okay." It was too late. We already did it. So yeah. There's rules for like remember, there's rules for everybody else, and then there's rules for somebody else. So, and I've always kind of made my own rules. Heather goes, "You're a nut, Dad." So, but what was I going to say? Anyway, so we should probably jump into topic here. Uh, so so this is what I love, right? This is what I love. So if you watch certain news channels, right? What do you hear about with these tariffs, right? What you're hearing with the tariffs is, oh, if he enacts these tariffs, it's going to be bad for the U.S. economy and it's going to hurt, our relations with Canada and also with, Mexico. And they talk about that, right? What they don't mention, right? Why is he implementing these tariffs, right? The reason that he's implementing the tariffs, and it's not a tariff that is permanent. That's the other thing people are not, they're not relaying that. The legacy news media is not failing to mention that it's a temporary tariff until Mexico and Canada agree, if you will, to stop allowing all these people coming streaming across our borders, the drugs, the human trafficking, all this type of stuff. Now, I'm sure the Democrats love the fact. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they do. I don't know. But it seems like they're not happy that we have a president that's going to try to stem the flow of human trafficking and drug trafficking across the borders. I mean, what a terrible human being this man is. Unbelievable. Looking out for the American people? No, can't have that. We got to take care of everybody else and neglect our own people. I don't get it, folks. I really, really, truly don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, it's again, when you only are getting part of the story, and it's a temporary tariff. As soon as Mexico complies and does not allow all this to go on, then it stops, right? So, it's a no, yeah, it's a negotiation leverage. Exactly. Will a tariff hurt us? Possibly, you know. But the thing is, I look at it and from this perspective. If we stop the flow of illegals coming into the country, and we get that stemmed, we're going to be saving billions and billions of dollars because guess who's taking care of all these people, folks? You and I are with our tax dollar. That's who's taking care of these people. So um, I don't have an issue with it at all. I don't have an issue with it at all. And I love the different Democratic, you know, areas. Well, I don't know if you saw this. So a U.S. I don't know if she's a senator. I think she was a senator, a U.S. senator. These people, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So she's speaking for all of the people of New York State. And again, let me reiterate: in New York State, if you look at the map when it's election time, small pockets, which are the cities, are all blue. The entire rest of the state is red. So once you get out of the cities, New York State is pretty conservative. Okay, and again, I'm sure there's plenty of Democrats out in the rural country, and there's plenty of Republicans in the cities. But this woman was saying, well, we should withhold our taxes to the federal government and join Canada, become part of Canada, And I'm like, what kind of moron are these people? I mean, realistically, these are the people that have been voted on and put into government. And this woman is suggesting seceding from the Union and becoming part of Canada. And she was like, well, Connecticut and these other states, we could all become a province of Canada. And I'm like, I think, you got about as much chance of that happen is tomorrow during the Macy's Day Parade of a real live unicorn showing up, you know, and Bigfoot leading it, the unicorn. Nobody's seceding from the Union and becoming part of Canada. And I think that you would have uprising within this country or in this state itself if they tried to do that. So, but it's just, don't they have to buy us from China first? Yeah, right. But it's insanity. I mean, it's just it just go. Oh, and then of course you have all these ones that are protesting. Oh, we're not going to comply. With you know, the deportation and stuff like that. Well, here you go. I don't know if you guys knew this, and I don't want you to look it up real quick. I just want in the comments, and I talked to Sean about this, so Sean, you can't answer, but do you know what state in the Union was the last state that put in Martin Luther King Day? And the only reason that state put in Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday was because they were threatened by the government that they would withhold federal funding if they did not make it a federal holiday for that state. Does anybody know what state that was? Was the last holdout? So just give you guys a minute. And why would anybody say New York or California? I have no idea because there are a bunch of liberals there. So that's probably not going to be the state, right? The very last state that made Martin Luther King Jr. a holiday was Arizona. And again, when I saw that, I was like, Arizona? I was like, holy crap. But the only reason that they did it was because they were threatened that the government was going to withhold federal funding for their state if they did not do it. So I thought that's an interesting fact. So that being said, again, with this whole thing with all these different, bleeding heart liberals saying that they're not going to comply, right? Hard watching with no cheeses behind you. Well, I'll be back in West Virginia fairly soon, so you'll get to see him there again. But anyway, all they got to do again is the government is say, you don't want to comply, then we'll just cut off your federal funding. They'll comply. They'll comply because that's a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money. So it's just a game. It's grandstanding. I mean, the re. Oh, happy. Here, we'll do it. We'll even do it. Let's see. There. Yeah, but now my big head's in the way. So, oh my God, that's funny. And that's I think Heather bought those the other day. Well, rephrase. I paid for them, but they're for her. Too funny. But yeah. But no, I've been having I've had a nice time, visiting and seeing different people that I have, and I still got more people I got to go visit. Uh, but it's supposed to be crooked. Better. So, but no, like I said, it's I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Obviously, is Thanksgiving. So let me just say to everybody watching, Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have a great day and that you get to enjoy it with somebody that you enjoy being with. Uh, you know, Family's not always blood, so being with people that care about you and you care about them, that's a good thing. So, that's what I mean. I For me, it's about family. That's why I love Thanksgiving, and so we'll be, doing Thanksgiving with Becky and Rick, and so looking forward to that. And Mom's going to be there. Jeannie's bringing Mom out, and so it should be a good time. Should be a good time. But yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good to see everybody because I haven't seen Becky yet because she's down at Rick's place right now. So we're going to be traveling down there tomorrow for Thanksgiving. So that should be fun. But yeah. So anyway, so that's going to be a nice. Like I said, it'll be a nice day, and we'll hang out and enjoy that. And we're eating early, so but eh, I wasn't going to say anything, Sean. So there is tension in the family with Becky and Sean, and we'll leave that at that. So you know, it'll just be me and Heather going down. So we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, so have you ever seen the movie Blazing Saddle with G? I have. I have seen that actually, and think about that kind of movie too. Another comedy, right? Um, in today's day and age. I mean, some of the stuff that they got away with in those movies back then, you can't get away with today because you'll have, the feelings police all over you and all that good stuff. So craziness, absolute craziness. I get a kick out of the fact. So here's, this is one. You have Robert Downey Jr. in was it Tropic Thunder? I think was the movie. He he played portrayed a black man, right, in that movie. And so you know there was all kinds of uproar about that, right? But yet when the Wayne brothers did the movie White Chicks, where they pretend not only to be white but female, nobody made any kind of stink about that at all. So it's crazy. That's why I bought it on DVD when people started trying to cancel Gone with the Wind. Yeah, it's just so stupid. What Huckleberry Finn is another one. Just it's just the craziness is off the charts, but yet certain truly inappropriate stuff is perfectly fine now. It's just the world has gone insane. And like I said, it's again that comes down to what the parents are willing to allow or not allow. And I think a lot more parents now have decided homeschooling is a better option than sending their kids to public school, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know, I mean, we had when the kids were in school, and it was all kinds of issues with Eddie. The system is not set up for autistic kids. It's a farce. It's a travesty, to be honest with you. Uh, what they want the school systems, from what I have seen, dealing with raising an autistic child, they want these kids to fit in this box. All the autistic kids to fit in this box, and it don't work like that. The spectrum is so broad. It is. It's and because Eddie was Eddie, they didn't like that, and there was all kinds of issues, and They failed. The system failed, Eddie, and that's the only way that I can say it. And you know, because I was an advocate for my son, and I wouldn't, do what they wanted. Like okay, so I'll give you an example. They wanted to medicate Eddie, right? And I said, wait a minute. I said, so you want me to medicate my son so he's easier for you to deal with? I don't have to medicate him at home. And he complies and does what he's supposed to do. I said, no, you're not. I'm not medicating my son so that he walks around like a zombie so that you can say, oh, look at what we did. We did great. And, no, not happening. Not The system is skewed. When he was 16, and here's the other thing. When he turned 16, wanted to pull him out of school then at that age, because 16, you can drop out, right? Oh, no, no, no. You have to finish that school year. So we had to wait all the way until June of that year, and he was being homeschooled at that point. He had a tutor coming in for the last couple of years anyway, so he wasn't even going anywhere. So here's another thing that they wanted to do, right? So they were like, well, we're going to do a tutor off site at this other building, right? And he's going to get together with his tutor, and it would be him and his tutor. And so I was like, well, are you planning on providing transportation? And they're like, what transportation? I said, no, here's what we're going to do. I said, we are going to go and have the tutor come here to the house. When we had the camper out here. Tutor's going to come here. He's going to be in the camper with Eddie, and I'll be right here. If there's any issues and the tutor needs to call me, I'm right here. So, and the one, not social worker, guidance counselor, I think that's what he was. He's like, well, wait a minute, he needs to have social interaction. I go, what are you talking about? If he's one on one with his tutor, what social interaction is he going to have? So don't give me that crap. I said, you're doing it here at my house, and that's it. Well, this guy couldn't stand me, and I got to tell you, okay, I got to tell you what I used to do, and I did it every time. So he was also Heather's guidance counselor. And so every time I saw this guy, and folks, when somebody doesn't like you, okay? But so every time he saw me, I would stick out my hand, and let's say his name was John. I don't remember what his name is anymore because he's so irrelevant, it doesn't matter. But I would stick my hand out and be like, hey, John, how are you today? Because now he's got to shake my hand because he's part of the school system, right? He's got to be nice to me, right? I did it on purpose because I knew the guy couldn't stand me and I knew he hated my guts. But I'm going to advocate for my kids, both Eddie and Heather. Never was ever going to let anybody walk all over them or play games with them. There was an incident with a teacher that Heather had that, I dealt with that with the school, and they corrected it. So I'll tell you that story, okay? So Heather, straight A student. I mean, from the time she was little all the way through, straight A student. Okay. And so we had moved to the Dansville School District. And so she was going to Dansville School. And so she had this math teacher. And I could tell he was a bully. I could just, you know what I mean? One of those guys, he's just a jerk. Okay. So we get the report card for the first 10 weeks of school, and Heather's got straight A's in everything except for math, where she had like a 68, right? And I'm like, well, what's going on? She goes, Dad, he's just a jerk. He's mean. And it was not just to her, but he was mean to other people. So I said, I'll take care of this. So I go down to the school and asked to speak with the assistant principal because he was the one that dealt with her grade at the time. And so I go in there, and he's like, oh, Mr. Carswell, what can I do for you? I said, I want you to pull up Heather's grades. And he goes, okay. So he pulls up her grades. I go, you tell me what's wrong. And he's looking. He goes, yeah, I see she got a 68 in math. I said, my daughter is a straight A student. There's no way she had a 68 in math. And I said, My daughter's telling me this guy's a bully. He's mean. He's not teaching these kids. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sure I am not the first parent to complain about this. He goes, well, I will tell you you're not. And I said, and I can also tell you why you can't get rid of this teacher. I said, because he has tenure. And he goes, you're right. He's got tenure, which means if you've been with the school for so many years, it is very difficult for them to get rid of you, no matter how much of a piece of crap you are. So then I said, I want to see him. I want to see this teacher. I want to talk to him face to face. And they're like, no, no, they're like, no, you're not doing that. And I said to him, I said, I'm going to tell you what, when I see her report card next semester, it better not look like this, or I'm coming back into school and I'm going to go to his room and I'm going to go see him. Well, it was amazing. After that, Heather's grades were right up where they should have been in his class. Isn't that amazing? When you advocate for your kid. And it wasn't a matter of, if Heather had been a very average student, guys, okay, and she said, Dad, I tried my best and this is all I could do, I would have said that's fine. But I knew what kind of student Heather was. And this guy was just a jerk. He was a jerk. And I'm sure he was a bully after she went through school and got out of there as well. I'm sure it didn't change, so. But yeah, it's just, but that's what you're dealing with these schools. You've got teachers that have been there forever that they can't get rid of, that are pieces of crap, that don't do a good job, and then they can do whatever they want, and they're like they're in the position of power. You're a freaking teacher, you know unbelievable. But that's what happens, folks. And like I said, the situation with Eddie was just, so once he was done with that school year, he never went back. It was a waste. It was a joke anyway. What so Eddie taught himself to read. I will tell you that. Okay. Eddie. So actually, what I'll tell you another thing. What happened with Eddie, in his last year of being in school, the assistant principal had said, well, I'm going to be the one, I'm going to be setting up Eddie's curriculum for this year, because he goes, I know you're planning on pulling him out as soon as the school year's over. I'm like, you better believe I am. I'm done with the school system. And so what I said, he said, well, I'm going to be doing this. I go, wait, stop right there. I go, stop right there. I said, math. That's what I want you to focus on. That's what I want the tutor, when he comes to the house, I want him to focus on math and only math. I don't give a crap about the rest of it, just math. And he starts laughing, and he goes, you know what? He goes, Mr. Carswell, he goes, that's what I like about you. He goes, you were just straight up. You just say it like it is. I said, man, I don't know any other way to be. That's the way I've been my whole life. I say it like it is. If it hurts your feelings or you don't like it or whatever, I don't give a crap. I really don't. Especially if I feel I'm in the right, and when it comes to my kids, I'm always, I'm going to advocate for them. So that's what they did. He focused on math, and we got through it and did it, and then the year was over with. And now I will tell you this: Eddie went through up here, the school system they had up here. He went through 3, 4 tutors before this guy. Now, this guy that ended up tutoring Eddie, I'll tell you this whole thing. So the first tutor he had, I was taking Eddie down to the public library, and he's there with the tutor. And I said, if you have any problems, here's my number, call me. Half an hour. I got to go back to the library. He's picked up a chair and chucked the chair or whatever. And now he's not allowed to be tutored at the library. And she's like, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this kid. And then we had one other tutor. I think it was 3 tutors altogether, because then the next tutor, same problems, didn't want to deal with it. And so they finally got this guy who came and was Eddie's tutor. This guy was also a teacher that went to the prisons. He taught at the prisons. Okay, great guy. He told me later on. He told me later on that after 2 weeks he was ready to be done. He was like, I was just about finished, and I kept telling him, give it time, work with Eddie, Eddie's playing games because he knows how to game the system, because that's what he's been in since he was 2.5 with the autism. It's a game, and he's trying to drive you away because all he wants to do is sit in the house and play on his computer. He don't want to go and do any school stuff. So, but he stuck with it, and he was with Eddie, I think, for 2 years, and he really became fond of Eddie, and Eddie became fond of him. So, but again, they and there's the other thing I will tell you about the school system. They don't want to listen to the parents. They don't want to listen to the parents. I'll tell you another story that happened with Eddie. So when we were in Greece, New York, okay, started him in school there. They didn't want to deal with him. They didn't want to deal with him. Suspended him, and so finally they got him into a 611 all autistic class, but it was in a different school district, and he went to that one through 6th grade. Okay, and so what ended up happening was we started the new school year. Well, that class only went up through 6th grade, so then he had to go on. So uh, Amy and I weren't together at that point, but we went together and went to this other school, Churchville Chili, and they had an autistic class there, and so they were, like, we have this, and I'm like, and both Amy and I are both like, yeah, we don't think this is going to be a good fit for him. Oh, you're being overprotective parents. You got to give it a chance. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, so we give it a chance. Very first day of school. Um, First of all, they had him in a cafeteria with 600 other kids. All right. So there's all that going on with the kids with autism. It's too much input. Then they had him enrolled in Spanish, which they didn't tell us. Okay. Eddie was having a hard enough time at that point speaking English. And so the Spanish teacher says, you need to pick a Spanish name. And he was like, how about oh, hell no? Right. Then he proceeded to put the Spanish teacher in a headlock. Okay. So I get a phone call. I'm at work. Uh, you need to come to the school right away. The police are here, blah, 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 blah. And so I get to the school, and there's two cop cars there, and there's the cops, and the cops were like, well, if he was older, or whatever, they were giving me some song and dance how he could be charged with assault and blah blah blah. And I said to these cops, they said, listen, let me ask you a question, and I want you guys to think about this too, because this is a realistic way of looking at it and understanding autism and autistic kids. I said, let me ask you a question. If you were sitting in a chair and you had a marching band on this side of you and you had a marching band behind you, and they played for 8 straight hours, how long could you sit in that chair? Right? So think about that. How long could you sit in a chair with this loud marching band in front of you playing, another loud marching band behind? You'd lose your mind, folks. You'd be like, I'm out, right? With autistic kids, that's what it's like for them. Too much input coming in, and they can only take so much. And when they get to that breaking point, that's it. So anyway, so what ended up happening? Yeah, sensory overload. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what ended up happening was they're like, oh, well, we're really sorry. This is we've learned a lesson from this. We made a mistake. We should have listened to you, the parents. Oh yeah, but because he doesn't go to the school district, guess what? He ain't coming back. And so then they put him in a behavior classroom with a bunch of a totally different school in Greece with all behavior kids. So what do you think happens when you take a child with autism who's the only autistic child in this school of misfit kids that are all behavior problem kids? Let's see. Maybe he picks up new bad behaviors because of that. Craziness. I mean, when I tell you folks, if you have a child with autism, be their advocate, because you're the only one that can ever make a difference, because the school system is so screwed, and they don't. At the end of the day, they don't care. They don't care. I don't care what kind of crap anybody says. They don't care. They want to push them through. They want them to comply. If they can medicate your kid to get him comfortable or not comfortable, to get him to be in a zombie state of mind while he's at school, that's what they want because they don't give a crap. You know, that's from my experience as a parent of a child with autism in dealing with the school system. So and Eddie's not easy. Now, Eddie was never easy. Now he's more chilled out now. He's older. He's way more chilled out. He doesn't have the tantrums, like he did then. So I mean that makes a big difference. So, but yeah, it's just like I said, the system is a mess, um, and it's not ready for this overwhelming number of autistic kids that are not going to fit inside that box. So and if they can't intimidate and bully and coerce the parents into doing what they want, not it is you think it's for the kid? It ain't for the kid. It's for the school. Let's make it easy, right? So no, no, never would let them put Eddie on any meds. Wasn't going to happen. So, but that's my fun of being a parent with a child with autism. But yeah. So anyway, so there we. I'm sorry. Let me grab my soapbox and set it back aside because I definitely got on it. That's a subject. That's a very very sore subject. What's on your menu for Turkey Day tomorrow? Neighbor Bob said. Um, the tomorrow we're definitely turkey stuffing. We'll always do mashed potatoes, corn, gravy, obviously, and probably green beans will be as well. Pumpkin pie, apple pie for dessert. There'll be a little probably cranberries, all that good stuff, all the traditional Thanksgiving stuff that you would think of. Will probably because with Becky cooking, it'll be that way. So, but I can certainly relate. Yep. You are so right. My youngest son is autistic. We had one of the best classrooms in the school. That's good. That's good. Sean, I hope he brings back leftovers. I'm sure we'll figure something out. I figure sure we'll bring some back. But yeah, like I said, life is very interesting how that works out and how things go. But Eddie's a good kid. He really is. He just with the hormones and growing up and in dealing with different stuff. I'll tell you. I'll relate another story to you, and this happened, and this one broke my heart, folks. I'll tell you. We had Amy's dad had come to town, so we're out at a restaurant, eating in a restaurant, and so Eddie was good for like the first 20 minutes. I mean, great for the first 20 minutes. And then again, sensory overload, too much coming in, and he starts accelerating. Which we call used to an episode accelerating, whatever title you want to put on it. So the food had come, and I like wolfed down my food because I eat fast anyway, but I wolfed my food down. And I'm like, I'm gonna take him, and you guys finish eating, take your time. I'm gonna take him, and we're gonna sit in the car. And so I got Eddie, and I picked him up, and I took him out, and I put him in his car seat, and I'm in the car with him. And as soon as we were in a quiet environment, and he's in his car seat, just as calm as could be, just like just as kind, it was like instead of being this wild child that people were looking, thinking, "Oh, look at this brat," right? It was too much, and it really, I'll tell you, it hurt me in my heart. Because I felt so bad for him because he couldn't say at 2 or 2.5, 3 years old, he couldn't say, "Hey, this is too much. I can't handle this." He didn't have that skill set yet. So he just acted out. And so, it was, but as soon as I took him out and it was quiet in the car, he was absolutely fine. And I remember when I see people in a restaurant and and I watch the kids and I see a kid acting out, I'm always looking for that sign of possible autism. That maybe that's why they're acting out, and it's just it's something, unless you've experienced it and dealt with it, you wouldn't know. You just look, oh, there's another kid with his parents letting him do whatever he wants, and that wasn't the case, with Eddie. So, but it happens. Like I said, that's part of the deal that we got to deal with. So, but yeah, it's not an easy road, especially for them. Uh, I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm trying to remember exactly what the percentage is, but I believe the percentage is parents with children with autism. The divorce rate is 95%. 95%, because in a lot of cases, okay, and this is just a factual information, okay, in a lot of cases, men could never say, this is partly my fault or whatever, why this child has autism. And I have my own thoughts, which I've shared before, and I won't put them on here because, no, I'm not going to do an egg count because we, they're not laying up here. So we're just not going to do an egg count up here. I'll start that back up again when I go back down to my chickens. But, anyway, what was I saying? I completely lost my train of thought. What was I just saying, guys? Before the egg count stuff. Oh, okay. The men can't admit. Thank you. Yeah. So men have a hard time saying if they have a child with a handicap or whatever, they always blame the wife. It's always her fault in a lot of cases. Not all cases. Please don't think I'm throwing all men under the bus because of that. But most men will blame the wife if there's a problem with their child. They never ever. But me being a nurse, I looked at things differently. I tried to look at, why did he have this, and what did we do? Did we do something to contribute to it and stuff like that? And so that's what I tried to figure out. And then, okay, well, this is our son, and we're going to deal with it. And it's difficult. It's difficult. But it's very stressful on a marriage. And so, like I said, just dealing with quote unquote normal children is hard enough. And it's just that's kind of the tough part of what you have to deal with. But it's so the divorce rate, like I said, it's 95% with people with children with autism. And I remember saying, it ain't going to be us. That ain't going to be us. Um, the other thing I'll share with you, and I said this to somebody one time: if you have a child and your child has cancer, okay, everybody's very empathetic. Oh my God, what can we do? Um, is there something we can do to help? We'll be there for you. This is a tough time, blah, 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 right? You have a child with autism, okay? Your family, your friends, they don't want to be around you. They don't want to deal with it because they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with that autistic kid. So they will avoid you like the plague. So it is very, very isolating. And I think a lot of people don't understand that either. Yes. Yep. Yep. Mar. Yes. The answer to your question is yes. Um, and at the same time as well. But so um, that's what happens. They just will avoid you because they don't want to deal with it. So it's you're very much alone, and it's tough. It's not an easy road. So but I just take care of my kids, and that they're my most important thing. Always have been, always will be. So that's just me. So anyway, so that's we'll leave that there alone. So anybody have any questions? We'll do some questions real quick if you guys would like. We got like 15 more minutes in the live stream, and I've been blabbling away here. So More than happy to answer anybody's questions. Oh, we got 204 in the chat. Hella's right here. She's right here on the floor. Uh, and 101 thumbs up, guys. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I thank you very much. But yeah, feast and watch it. Yeah, hey, if they lose out the rest of the way, a better draft pick. That's the way I look at it, JJ. But I think they'll beat the Giants tomorrow because the Giants suck even worse than the Cowboys. So they're just ruined their position in the draft that much more. Have you tried earplugs with Eddie? No, we never did. He wouldn't have tolerated it. The weather up here, we had sunshine today. It wasn't bad. What are you most thankful for most this year? So many things. There's so many things to be thankful for. Still being here. Being on the right side of the grass. Having decent people surrounding me in my life and surrounding myself with good people. So that makes a difference. Lot to be thankful for. Being able to be healthy enough to still stay active and having good health, that makes a difference. You know, Still have 3, 4 marbles rolling around in my head. That also helps. But no, I've been very blessed in my life, in a lot of ways, and I'm a big believer in you have a hand in that. What you put out there, you get back. If you're a positive person, you try to treat people with respect and dignity. I think a lot of times that comes back to you. It does. So that's just I try to treat people the way I want to be treated until they prove to me they don't deserve to be treated that way, and then I don't want nothing to do with them. So um, yeah, bring her in here, Sean. I'll be here until next week, and then I'll be heading back. Let me see here for a second. There she is. There's little Miss Molly. Hi, baby girl. She's all fluffy still, of course, and got those little legs. Oh, she's not a big fan of Hella.
Yeah.
She don't know Hella so well. Well, she probably remembers her. Yes.
All right.
All right. That's it. All right. Good cat, Miss Molly. Real good cat. So, I think I got a couple new scratches now. But Molly likes her attention on her level, her rules. So, not a big cat that she never has really liked being picked up. So, but yeah, after she had her litter, we went and got her fixed. So that was the end of that. So, number one, people don't get about being around kids on the spectrum. No matter how much you want normality, it doesn't happen naturally and never will. That's for sure. That is for sure. Great statement. Great statement. And what is normal? Realistically, what is normal? So, uh, uh, oh, JJ had eye surgery. God, JJ, how many surgeries have you had now, my friend? The other two dogs are doing great. I'll do another video and I'll show you all the dogs and everything again. But I like I said, like tomorrow, I may do I may do a video just wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving, but that might not go up till later. But I've never been normal. I always always tell people since the time I was a kid, I've always been a nonconformist. I'm just not. I'm not geared up to just go along and do what everybody else wants to do. Um, I have always bucked the system. I've always questioned everything. You know, um, and a lot of people didn't know how to handle me because of that. Because I think for myself, and I'm talking as a kid in dealing with, just for an example, religion. I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions. I always have a lot of questions, right? I mean, we do that on here sometimes. I go, I have questions. I have lots of questions. But they couldn't answer my questions definitively. And so, I'm not one, I don't believe anything on blind faith. I'm sorry, that's just not who I am. And so I'm also stubborn. Yes, stubborn as a mule headed. But, it's just, but I've always questioned things. And if I'm not getting the right answers, or, something that they can you prove this to me, I need to see this. Show me where it says this, you know. And when you can't, it's just I'm not buying it, and that's just how I am. In school, I mean, I remember being in high school, and everybody had short hair, and they all wore Nikes, and they all wore a certain type of jeans and stuff like that. And I wore boots, and I had long hair, and I was a nonconformist. I was not going to be like everybody else, and I did my own thing. And and because I was stubborn and willful, and that's what I got with this one. She's stubborn and willful herself, but where'd the hair go? Yeah, it went a long time ago. It's funny. Uh, I was showing Heather pictures of when me and her mom got married, and she she says, "Oh my God, Dad, you had hair." I mean, Heather's 23 years old, and she has never seen me with hair because from the time she was very young, I think I've been shaving my head for 22 years now, something like that, at least that long. Um, she's never seen me with hair, so it's not like oh, Dad had hair and then it was gone. She just never remembers me with hair, and so I think that that's funny when she was like, I go, well, yeah, honey, at one time your dad had hair, so. But I mean, in high school, I had long hair. But long hair, yeah, then long hair, now longing for hair. You know what the funny thing is, Okie Forge? Somebody had asked me one time. They said, if you could take a pill and your hair would grow back, would you grow your hair out again? I'm like, nope, nope. I've been shaving my head for so long. If I have today was that head shaving day, so I shaved my head today. Every other day, so tomorrow will not be a head shaving day. The next day will be. So I've done wigs here and there just for fun, just screwing around. Yeah. So yeah, it's my identity. It's who I am. And like I said, you got to have a good head if you're going to shave your head, and I have a good head for that. It's all not misshapen and weird looking. So that helps. Some people should not shave their heads. So oh, it feels awesome having a shower. Yeah, it really feels good. Yeah, I've been, making sure I'm getting in there every single day, enjoying that nice shower. Longer than I probably should, but no, it's felt really, really good. So, but um, but yeah, it's just like I said. For me, it's just I'm used to doing this, and I like it, and so and I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm doing it for myself. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, when I first started shaving my head, I remember only one other white guy with his head shaved. A lot of black dudes shaved their head back then, but not a lot of white guys. And so, and then I did it, and then I've noticed through the years, it's more prevalent now. A lot more white guys are shaving their head where they didn't before. So, but I was just like, I was not going to look ridiculous. I just always said that I will not look ridiculous. That's what matters. That you do you. That's always the way. Like I said, it's always the way I've been. I say it like it is. Um, I don't sugarcoat things, and I just. Will you be building a house in West Virginia? I plan to in time. I definitely want to. I have, an idea that I want to do, probably like a 20 by 40, and so I'll have to build because you can't get anything down the road bigger than 12 foot wide. and I don't want 12-foot wide, so I'll probably build myself. And and I want a wraparound porch. So I mean, I have a lot of plans of what I want to do. And it may take me some time to do it, and that's okay too. You know, biggest thing is getting it dried in, and once I do that, then we'll go from there. But I don't know when I would start that. I got to see financially where I'm at and what's going on, so that's a big part of it as well. But yeah, it's just it's not hugely high up on the priority list. I have the camper, I have everything I need in the camper, and there's other things down there that I think are a little higher on the priority list at this point in time, and we're trying to get those things squared away. So we're gonna sit down probably when we get together in January and make a game plan for the year as a group and decide, okay, what, like we've talked about, getting greenhouses going. So, figuring out what we're going to do, where we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. You know, that's kind of what we're going to do. And we'll see, how things progress and what's happening in the world and all that good stuff too. And I hope we got time. There's it's time and money. It's what it always comes down to, time and money. So unlike the ultra rich who have unlimited money to throw at something and they don't have to worry about it and they can have somebody else take care of it, we're doing the work ourselves, and it's based on where we're at. So I used to sneak out of the house and go to parties. Now I sneak out of the parties to go home. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I can remember doing that quite a bit too, sneaking out to go have fun, and yeah, yep. That just reminds me of something. I'll tell you another story real quick. So, uh, I don't know, we were like 16, I think, at the time, and Becky and I didn't always get along. Okay, that's where she got the nickname Queen. I used to always call her Queen. I have that tattoo for her on my arm, and so actually it's on this arm up over here. But so I started calling her Queen. I said, because you think you're a queen, everybody should kiss your behind and blah blah blah. So anyway, so we were having brother sister troubles, like always, like kids do. They always fight. And so she had her friend spend the night. We were all on one ground floor. Well, what they had done is they had snuck out her window, right, and had gone out. And so somebody came and picked them up, and they went out, her and her girlfriend, and they partied and did whatever they were doing. So I had gone in there, I don't know, it's like 10, something like that, just ask her something. And I open up her door, and there's nobody there. So, being the very concerned brother that I was, I went and knocked on Mom and Larry's door because they were already in bed. And I said, Ma. And she's like, yeah. I go, where's Heather? And she goes, what do you mean? Well, she's not in her room. So Mom went in and locked the window. Yes, she did. Yeah, she locked the window. So at some point when they came back, um, couldn't get back in the house because the window's locked. And so we had it was an old chicken coop that we had turned into. We called it the pool room because we had the pool behind it. So you'd go into the pool room and you could change. We'd go in there and listen to. Yeah, this is Becky, my sister Becky. Um, and no, Heather would never do that. Heather never snuck out. No, no, no. Not with me as a dad. But anyway, so they came back, couldn't get in there, so they went and slept in the pool house. And then they, tried to tell my mom the next day. Oh, I said Heather. I'm sorry. I meant Becky. So so the next day they were like, "Oh no, Ma, we just went out to the pool house and we're listening to records and stuff out there." Yeah, sure you were. So, but yeah, that was. I didn't mean to say Heather. I meant Becky. But I'm trying. Her friend's name was Tracy Crandall. I'll never forget that. So yeah, they were. Oh, those girls were bad. So, but anyway, so yeah, that was the fun stuff that you do. But normally I wouldn't never narked on her, but she had pissed me off or something. So yeah, I ratted her out. Uh, and I think I told her. I said, "Yeah, I ratted you on you. Yeah, I told." So, and I told her why. And so we resolved our issues, and everything was good after that. So, all right, guys. Well, listen. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Try to spend it with people that you actually care about, which is good. And have a great day. And I hope everybody is doing well. It's my favorite holiday. Yep. Oh, what's my favorite holiday movie? Oh my God. Bad Santa is really high on that list. Loved Bad Santa. If you haven't seen Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. Um, but there's a lot of old traditional ones that I liked. It's a Wonderful Life is one that comes to mind, But yeah. So anyway, please be safe. I will see you all later. Have a great night, everyone. Prepper Nurse One and Miss Hella out for now. Stop. I gotta close this.